When I was first hired at Valley College full-time in 2000, forgive me for my voice, by the way, and all of these announcements, it sounds like I have a munchkin lodged in my throat or something. I've been fighting a bad cold, so I apologize for that. Anyways, back in 2000, when I was first hired, I had always wanted a nice watch, specifically a James Bond 007 Seamaster watch. I always wanted a nice watch. Well, anyways, now as a full-time instructor, this would be the first time in my life I had what I called an adult paycheck. I also wasn't married, didn't have a bunch of kids, didn't have a mortgage, didn't have a car payment, didn't have any real bills. And so not only was I able to pay the bills that I had at the end of the month, I had a little extra spending money. So I decided to go down to LA, to the jewelry district, and get my 007 James Bond Omega Seamaster. I spent a day bargaining with jewelers, found what I thought was the great deal. I think I paid $1,485 for the watch. No tax, out the door. At this time, I believe the watch retailed like locally at the Sherman Oaks Mall for like $3,700. I know it's crazy to spend that kind of money on a watch, but again, I had no responsibility. So anyways, I bought the watch. 2 weeks later after I got it, it stopped. I'm like, what the heck? You know, I'm not James Bond. I'm not jumping off buildings. I'm not fighting bad guys. I don't even let the thing get wet, and it's supposed to be waterproof to like the bottom of the ocean. So I went back to the jeweler and I said, dude, what's up? My watch stopped. And he says, oh, so sorry. Come back in 3 days, be fine. So I'm like, whatever. So I go back and I get my watch and I'm on the freeway with it. And it has a stopwatch, and I'm sitting in LA, East LA traffic, which means I'm not moving at all. So I take advantage of this opportunity to admire my watch. And it has a stopwatch, and I've never engaged it. So I decide to hit the stopwatch button. It doesn't work. Oh, I'm so mad. So I get off the freeway, go back to the jeweler, and he says, oh, so sorry, I have to send to Switzerland. So now my brand new dream watch is on a 3-month vacation to Switzerland. Meanwhile, I've never even been able to go to Switzerland. Anyways, 3 months later, I get my watch, and the day I get it back, it stops. I'm so upset. So I called Omega. They have wonderful customer service, by the way. They sent me a brand new watch, and it stops the day after I get it. So now I'm desperate. I don't know what to do. I decide I'm going to go to a fancy watch shop in Beverly Hills. So I do, a place I think called West Time. Anyways, I walk in there, and I explain my story to the guy behind the counter, and his response was, well, you know, some people believe that some of us have minerals in our bodies that interfere with the fine mechanisms of timepieces. I'm like, that is a bunch of BS. My minerals are messing with my watch. Anyways, I'm desperate. I'm mad. So I decide I'm going to write the CEO of Omega a letter. I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. So I sit down and I'm scribbling out a letter. And about halfway through it, I cool down and I'm thinking, you know what, if this guy ever looks at this letter, he's just going to laugh and throw it in the trash. So now I've cooled down and I decide, you know what, I'm going to practice something I've always preached. I've always preached that written communication is just as powerful as spoken communication if done properly. So I decided I was going to write this man a letter just like I would write a speech. And specifically, I would apply 3 attributes that Aristotle gives us for being logical, credible communicators. Pathos, which is emotion, logos, which is logic, and ethos, which is ethical appeal. So I sit down and I start formulating and structuring my words, and I thought, you know, I got to be all in on this. I'm going to add some research. So I researched the CEO of Omega, found an interview with him in the London Daily Business section, a newspaper over there in London. And in it, the CEO was interviewed, and he said, at Omega, we don't sell watches, we sell dreams. And the interview also said, we will one day take over the Rolex market. So what I did is I did a cut and paste. I took this man's words and put them at the top of my letter, followed by, I'd like to share with you my dream of having a nice watch and my experience with Omega. A week later, I received a personal letter from the CEO of Omega. I have it over here in my office. Hopefully you can see it. I'm not very good with doing selfies, but hopefully you saw my Omega letter. And he also sent me this watch. This is an Omega Chronomaster, Omega Chrono Diver Seamaster Planet Ocean. Anyways, this watch, depending on where you purchase it, retails for up to $10,000. Please don't jack me. I would never, ever buy a watch like this, but I didn't buy it. I got it as a result of a letter. Writing is empowering. It's intellectually empowering. It's socially empowering. It's politically empowering. It's professionally empowering. It's financially empowering. I hope and pray that all of you, as you are working through this class, some of you struggling, that you will step up and do what needs to be done, because you are sharpening one of the most important skills that you will take into this life.